right, some OBJ updates. Let's get into that. He is down to the Saints, the Chiefs, and the Packers. No Seahawks, huh?
No, they were the reported front runners.
He wanted to go to Seattle. That's where he wanted to go.
Allegedly, yeah.
I'd be interested in that marriage with Russ.
Yeah.
How that would work. But we're not going to see that. So the Saints, do you really think he wants to go play with Trevor Siemian, huh?
God, I don't know. But the one thing the Saints have got going for them is that he would be like the unquestioned number one there immediately.
True.
Like if you're OBJ and you want to prove that you still got something there, you're not the bad player that the Browns made you look. The Saints would be the opportunity to go there and just like give me all of the targets. Like every single pass now comes through my area code.
The thing that also happened with OBJ's contract, he'll be a free agent at the end of the year. So this isn't like a multi-year rental or anything like that. He is officially a free agent.
So it's like, what is the best 8 games for me to look good?
Right. I don't know if you don't always necessarily need the best quarterback, though. You might want the volume.
Right.
And
so it's
even
it's a legitimate.
Even if Simeon's not as good as Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, it's not like a lesser quarterback misses every throw. Right. I mean, he'll still get the ball to you, right, for the most part.
It is, I think, a legitimate question. Do you go and be the clear number 2 in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers and a functioning passing attack and everything looking okay? Do you go and be 2 or 3 in a Kansas City offense that right now is in a real funk and can't seem to get the ball down the field? Or do you go to a Saints offense that has no receivers? You will be by far the number 1, but the guy throwing you the ball is Trevor Siemian up until the point where maybe it's Taysom Hill. I mean, that part isn't great, but the number 1 thing is good. So it's not, I don't think, a slam dunk that, you would be making it out to be.
The Packers would be interesting because of the way Aaron Rodgers plays, right? I mean, it would probably take a little bit of time to get that feel. But just like you were talking about the other day with Jordan Love just not being on the same page as Devontae Adams, throwing back shoulders and all that stuff, I think Rodgers and OBJ would be on the same page pretty quickly on that type of stuff. But Alan Lazard has been Rodgers' guy over there, and is it really an upgrade getting a guy into a new system in the second half of the season if you're the Packers? There's also little downside, I think.
And then the other part of this is if you're OBJ and the thing you're actually interested in is chasing a ring, at which point you probably power rank them Green Bay, Kansas City, New Orleans, right? I know that right now the Chiefs are arguably in the worst situation in terms of where they sit, but like which one has a better chance of winning the Super Bowl? A Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City offense or a Trevor Siemian-led New Orleans offense?
Yeah, I think how much do you look at Kansas City's season and just say, okay?
But I think that's a clear number 1, like Green Bay by a mile, the other 2.
Yeah, but do you just completely – it's 4 weeks. Is it a 4-week slump in Kansas City, or you look at it and say, man, they have all the right pieces. If there's a missing piece, it is another receiver, and Mahomes is still Mahomes. It's not – we've seen so much evidence of him playing well. It's still Kansas City. And it's not like, and it's Kansas City. It's an AFC that doesn't have a dominant team, right?
Sure.
The Titans have lost to the Jets, as great as they've been the last few weeks. The Ravens got smoked by the Bengals. Like there's no dominant team here in the AFC. So maybe there's better teams probably at the high end in the NFC. I think the Chiefs could still be right up there. And as we posed the question on the PFF NFL Daily today, which is a good episode. We talk about free agents. We give a little preview of the top 50 free agents, which is all over at pff.com. It's on wherever you listen to podcasts. The PFF NFL Daily also on YouTube. And we posed the question about Orlando Brown. He's a free agent, offensive lineman. The Chiefs' offensive line. You have your rankings. Do you put rankings out this week?
Yeah.
They're second.
Yeah.
In the offensive line rankings.
Yeah.
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
Do their fans know that?
No.
Their fans think it's official. 31 fan bases hate their offensive line. Who's the one? Like the Browns fans are like, yeah, we got a good line. Everyone else thinks theirs is trash. Rams fans feel good about them. Well, maybe not after the other night.
Yeah.
Everybody hates their offensive line. The
Dallas
Chiefs'
fans
offensive
don't
line.
anymore because they had Terrence. Dallas fans don't anymore because Terrence.
Nope, Terrence Steele got smoked, and The guards got smoked by the Rams, so the Browns are the only good offensive line in the NFL. Everyone else is terrible. Chiefs are the number 2 offensive line, and they've never scored fewer points with Patrick Mahomes by a mile this season. 12 points per game over the last 3 weeks. Meaning something's still missing in that offense. OBJ is more of a missing piece for the Chiefs offense than he's a missing piece for the Packers or for the Saints.
Yeah,
in my opinion, even though he's a number 1 with New Orleans.
I think he has the potential to be. I think those are 3 interesting teams to narrow them down to. If I was him, and I mean, it depends on your motivations. If you're ring chasing, Green Bay is the team to go to. If you are trying to look the best you could possibly look for the next 9 weeks so that next year you go somewhere with big money, that's a more interesting question. I do think there's a very real chance that New Orleans is the best spot, because that is a team where you would be by far the number 1, and they've shown they can force feed a receiver over the years. The downside being Trevor Simeon's the guy doing the feeding. And then the Chiefs are the big X factor. Like, if that offense gets its stuff together, they could be the best offense in the NFL again immediately, and you could be a big part of that. But there's so much kind of unknown and so much not right with it at the moment.
Last year, right around this time, is when Antonio Brown signed with the Bucs, and we discussed from a football standpoint. I think people were even questioning it, like, why do they need Antonio Brown? I mean, they already have Mike Evans, they already have Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, other tight ends, right? And it was just because it's tough to cover all those guys. It is really difficult to cover all those guys, and you had insurance, right? Mike Evans was in and out of the lineup with injury. He was battling through injuries last year. Godwin had his moments, and AB ended up being a pretty key part of
still is
that run. I mean, it's the same thing with OBJ if you were the Seahawks and in the mix. But if you're the Packers, the Saints, or the Chiefs, of course, the payoff of having an OBJ is great. I think that is there downside, though? Like, would you project what happened in Cleveland and say there is downside? This A/B analysis of Baker with, Baker without, is that going to show up somewhere else?
I mean, I don't think there is downside, because we've just seen what happens when it doesn't work out. And the Browns have determined that despite needing a player like that, they are better off without him for a stretch that is supposed to get them to the playoffs and potentially beyond. So obviously, now that we've seen that happen one place, there's no reason it can't happen somewhere else. And if you bring in a guy like that, and all of a sudden it changes the dynamics of your offense, particularly Green Bay, say, of the teams that are left. Like, if Green Bay suddenly starts having to feed Odell Beckham and take targets away from other guys in that offense, and suddenly Rodgers is playing worse because he's skewing in the direction of OBJ, they could definitely upset the balance of the team. Kansas City, the balance is already upset, so my concern would be smaller. And New Orleans, there's no balance to upset because you don't have any receivers, so what the hell? Like, for those two teams, I would be far less concerned about the downside, but there is one. I mean, there is a way that it doesn't go well.
The other part about Antonio Brown working in Tampa Bay, there haven't been instances where, like, Chris Godwin's left out or Mike Evans is left out. It really is a game-to-game thing.
Right.
Evans is the guy one time. Sometimes it's Antonio Brown. Sometimes it's Gronk. Sometimes it's Godwin, and they've made it work. Will OBJ, will he make that work from his end, right? Will Aaron Rodgers, would he make it work from his end? Where there might be a game where, hey, it's an OBJ game. He's got the right matchups. I don't have to feed Devontae. Will they make that work, I think, is the question. But, yeah, on paper, adding a good receiver, generally more good than bad, right?
Mm-hmm.